Jeff Gray. Who is Jeff Gray?
I presume you're talking about my friend Jeff Gray, who is an activist. Um, he's a federal First Amendment activist. He's also an activist for open government. He operates under the moniker Honor Your Oath. He has a very popular YouTube channel. He's a very good friend of mine. We speak frequently.
And what does he do for a living?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I know that he's a professional truck driver, and he, as I understand it, when he went into the Army as a kid, he learned how to drive trucks, and that's what he's been doing professionally all of his life. As I understand it, last time he and I discussed this, he still does some truck driving, I think, to supplement his income. I understand that he makes some money from his YouTube channel as well. I don't know how much.
Do you have any knowledge of any other source of income relative to Mr. Gray, either currently, last year, or let's say going back to 2013?
I don't really know much about his personal finances. I couldn't say. We talk about a lot of things, but we don't get into, we kind of commiserate sometimes about how hard it is to eke out a living being an activist. It's not like it pays very well. So I really don't, I couldn't tell you about his personal finances.
Does he make records requests?
Public records requests?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he certainly has in the past that I'm aware of.
Okay. And have you ever participated with him in connection with those public records requests? I got it.
Oh sure, yeah. He and I have gone out many times and made public records requests together.
Okay. And was there an issue with him in the court somewhere in the northern part of Florida that you would know about?
I presume you're talking about Duval County, the infamous LSS, or Lutheran Social Services case.
That wasn't who I was talking about, but why don't you tell me about it?
Yeah, he went into Lutheran Social Services, which is one of these state contractors that provides social services to very vulnerable populations, a lot of homeless people, a lot of poor and minority folks. And he went in and made a public records request. And as I recall, what he was asking for was a copy of their liability insurance, which they're required to have based on the terms of the contract. Based on the video that he shot of that encounter, it seems very clear that the executive director just flatly refused to make those records available, acknowledged that he knew that they were subject to the Public Records Act, and that the records were readily accessible, but he just wasn't going to give them to him, and Jeff ended up filing suit. His attorney in that case is a friend of mine, a guy named Abraham Shockfay, who's an attorney in Tampa, and he represented Jeff in that case, and I actually rode with Abraham up to a hearing on the case. I was an uncompensated paralegal, I guess. Abraham and I discussed that and a number of other public records issues on the way up and on the way back. And so I actually made an appearance in that hearing as unpaid, uncompensated, never got any money, no promise of any money, as essentially a legal assistant or paralegal to Mr. Shockfay. The court ruled against Mr. Gray, and I think they appealed it, and I think, as I recall, they were PCA. So it was a very unfortunate decision by the court. I thought that the decision was almost, if it wasn't so offensive to the sensibilities of anybody who cares about open government, it was almost funny how just ludicrous the decision was. I was not a party to the case. I was not a witness to the case. I was purely there as an unpaid paralegal, but I think my name appeared in the decision 7 times, which was sort of mystifying. I see the LSS case gets brought up all the time, as though somehow that's, I don't know, some black mark on my character or something. And I make no apologies for my very limited involvement with the case. It was a bad decision. But, you know, it is what it is.